Hey guys, and welcome to the 2017 Volvo S90, the brand new flagship saloon from Volvo. This car competes with the likes of the BMW 5 Series, the Audi A6, and the Mercedes E-Class. And I have to say, I've been driving this car for a few hours now, and I am really impressed. I mean, I went into this car with high expectations. I've been watching the reviews, I've seen the photos, exterior and interior, but I am, to be honest, really impressed with this brand new car. I mean, the XC90 has one of the nicest interiors in the car business today. Even Jeremy Clarkson said in his review in the May or June issue of whatever magazine he writes for these days, said that the XC90 has the nicest interior this side of a Rolls-Royce. And I must say that I think that's an exaggeration. I don't think the interior is that nice, and you guys know I love the XC90's interior. It's nice, but it's not quite as nice as some people might say, in my opinion. But this new S90 interior, my God, have they risen the bar. They've just really stepped up their game. They've made an interior that's even nicer than the XC90. And I mean, not long ago, like a week or two ago, I sat in a Bentley Continental GT, the new model, and that has a gorgeous, beautiful interior. The attention to detail, the materials, the leathers, the woods. And I must say that this interior, to be honest, and I know that this is a bold statement, but this interior is just as nice as in a Bentley Continental GT. Might even be nicer. And there, a taxi actually stopped and tried to make contact with me, give me a thumbs up, because on the exterior, this car is just so gorgeous. And I mean, the XC90 is a pretty car. That's a beautiful car. To be an SUV, it is a really nice car, but this, the classic saloon proportions, the 3-box design, the low slung, gorgeous sloping roofline, and this front end, and I even like the rear end. And I am babbling now, and I am ranting, but this interior, the exterior, the design, I mean, they just nailed it. They nailed it. In my opinion, this is one of the best looking cars, full stop, of any car. It's so eye-catching. It's real eye candy. It's just so gorgeous and beautiful and sleek and modern, and that clean Scandinavian design that, of course, I'm from Norway. I live in Norway. I've been to Sweden tons of times. So we really love this type of design. This is the style of Scandinavia, and Volvo have really made it work. I mean, once they've shown it now with the XC90 and now with the S90 and V90, that as a more independent company with money backings from their Chinese owners, Geely, they've really just risen the bar in the luxury segment. First with the XC90, now with the S90, and that's enough about the exterior and interior. It's just really, really gorgeous. It's so beautiful. I've said that a million times now. But other stuff is really functional inside here. This car is equipped with the blonde leather, which is called, and with the open pore wood, the same as I have in my XC90, and leather on the dashboard. And it's so airy, it's so beautiful, it's a really, really pleasant and nice place to be. The cabin is really quiet, it's really sound insulated, it's just a nice place to sit, and the suspension tuning on this car is towards the comfort side. You can't get this car with adaptive rear suspension, which is an air suspension. This car has standard steel springs, and it works just perfectly fine. I wouldn't miss anything on this car. I wouldn't miss air suspension. It rides really nice, and this car is equipped with gorgeous 20-inch wheels. So you should think that this car is stiff, but actually in this configuration with steel springs and on 20-inch wheels, it actually rides better than the XC90 on air suspension, in my opinion. You might get more of that rebound that you get from steel springs, because the air suspension has a little better body control, in my opinion, but the comfort levels here is actually a notch up from the XC90. So how does this car compare with the likes like a BMW 5 Series, the Audi A6, and the E-Class? Well, I haven't actually driven the new E-Class. I've sat in the E-Class, and the E-Class has a really nice interior and exterior. I think the new E-Class is just gorgeous, but in my opinion, this car is a level above. I mean, it's just nicer inside, nicer outside, and what you get from this big Swede is you get the personality. You get the emotions of a car that is not German, because German cars are really nice, and they are really precise and do things really good, but like an Audi A6, in my opinion, just lacks personality. An E-Class has more personality, but this car just oozes of personality, which just makes it a nicer car to drive, a nicer car to be in. But I haven't driven a new E-Class, but without even driving that, I think I would pick this car, because it's so special inside and outside, and especially here in Europe. And viewers from the United States and Asia and other places in the world might not understand this, but an E-Class in Europe isn't special at all, because in many countries 99% of taxis are E-Classes. So myself, I think of the E-Class as a taxi, and they do that in many European countries. So that's kind of a pity, because the E-Class is a really nice car, but after like a year or two they've been out on the market, they'll just be another taxi on the street. So it won't be a special car, but this will be a special car. Even though they sell these, I bet they're gonna sell a bunch of these, because it's so nice and so special. But compared to an A6, well, the A6 interior can't hold a candle to this. And I remember, I think back in 2011 or 2012, when the last generation, the C7 A6 came out, I just thought that car had a gorgeous, gorgeous interior, but I'm sorry, but it can't compare. As good as Audi interiors are, and they've been, you know, praised for wonderful interiors, but this has Audi build quality, above Audi materials quality, and that personality that you would expect from Volvo after the XC90. And compared to 5 Series, I mean, the 5 Series is just old, boring, stale, and cold compared to this. So as you guys might have understood from my enthusiasm and how I keep ranting about this car is really impressive. And I just had to think back to the last time I drove a car in this class, and that was the Jaguar XF, and that was the 3-liter diesel, the V6 with 300 horsepower, and that was a fun car. I mean, you press the gas, and the sound, the acceleration, the torque from that 3-liter V6 diesel was just amazing and immense. But the rest of the car is nice. It's a really nice car. Would I buy it over the Germans? Well, I would probably get an E-Class before I got an XF, but I would get this car before anything else, because this car is really impressive. And this car this is the D4, which is the 2-liter 4-cylinder diesel, 190 horsepower, 450 newton meters of torque. And that's the same engine I have in the XC90, but then this car is about 350 kilos lighter. This is about 1,680 kilos in weight, and this 190 horsepower diesel is plenty. It's responsive, it's refined, it's quiet. For being a 4-liter, no, apologies, for being a 4-cylinder diesel engine, it's really impressive. It's so quiet, it's so refined. It lacks the sound of a V6. You'll never get V6 or 6-cylinder sound in a 4-cylinder, but it's close, and it's so distant and quiet that you don't notice it, and it actually makes a pleasant sound in my opinion. Well, as pleasant as 4-cylinder diesels can get. And it's just so quiet, no vibrations, no clatter on the inside. It's just a really pleasant motor. And compared to this, and made it to this 8-speed automatic, it's just a really nice car to drive. So this car, as I said before, and I keep sidetracking here, I apologize for that, but it's a really pleasant car to drive. It's on the comfortable side, so it's more like a Mercedes E-Class. But honestly guys, who wants a harsh and stiff luxury sedan? I mean, you want a sports sedan? Fine. I'm not gonna complain. I'm not gonna tell people what they want, but I really want if I'm gonna buy a car in this class, in this price bracket, I want it to be comfortable. And this car handles perfectly. I mean, it's perfectly fine handler. You can weight up the steering, and I've driven it on twisty roads, and it's fine. I mean, it's probably not as fun as a BMW 5 Series, but it's close. It's probably on par with like an Audi A6 and a Mercedes E-Class, but 99% of the time you do your driving, at least I do my driving, I want a quiet cabin, I want a comfortable ride, and I want a beautiful interior I can look at, a beautiful exterior I can show off and that other people can look at, and I just want a car that's nice to drive. And in my opinion, sports sedans as of late, the last 10-15 years, have gotten really focused on the sporty side and forgotten the nice to drive side. And this is a car that takes us back to nice to drive. Mercedes have nailed it. I mean, Mercedes understand luxury. And Volvo has the same recipe with their new XC90 and now this new S90. And in my opinion, that's the way to go. So, all in all, I think I'm a little in love with this car, to be honest. It's just so beautiful inside, so gorgeous on the outside. It just feels like a special place to be. And what's really interesting is that I was talking to a friend of mine here earlier today who was riding with me, and I just have to take a U-turn here because the road just suddenly stopped. I'm outside Stavanger here. I've never driven in this place. But what really made me realize how good this car is that I drove the Q7 not a long time ago. I drove an X5. I drove a Porsche Cayenne. What else have I driven? I've at least driven those cars, right? I've driven the Jaguar XF, the F-Pace, a lot of cars lately, and every time I drive those cars, I can't wait to get back into my XC90, right? Because interior-wise and just comfort-wise and just nice car wise, the XC90 just does an excellent job. So I've just always looked forward to getting back into the XC90. And this is the first time I can remember since I drove the XC90 for the first time last summer when it debuted. This is the first time I'm not looking forward to getting back in the XC90. And you guys who have followed me for a while now, who have watched my other videos, you guys know how much I love the XC90. But this car is just superb. Is it a better car than the XC90? Well, depends on what kind of car you want, but my God, I think if there was a car that would be better than the XC90, it would be this car. So kudos to Volvo. You guys have done a freaking fantastic job, because I went into this car, into this review, with high expectations and thinking that, well, it can't be that good. It's a nice car, it's a pretty car, outside, inside, but it can't be that good. But it really is that good of a car. And if you guys want to take me on my word, forget the E-Class, forget the 5 Series, forget the A6. Go to your Volvo dealer. If you're looking for a mid-size luxury sedan in the, what's the price of this in the US? About $45,000-$50,000, and in Europe about 35,000 euros. If you're looking for a car in that price bracket, a luxury sedan, head over to your Volvo dealer and order this car. That's my honest opinion, because this car is that good. I would probably go out and drive the E-Class. I might do that afterwards just to compare. Just give me a quick drive with a Mercedes E-Class, but this is just really impressive, Volvo. So guys, that was my review, my rant on the new Volvo S90, and I'm just blown away. So what you guys think? Do you like this car? Do you like the looks inside and out? Have you driven this car? Let me know in the comments below. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, and for more car content, please subscribe. See you guys later, and goodbye. So I'm currently in a E-Class and E220 diesel, and as you can see on my face, I'm not very excited. I'm not as enthusiastic. It might be partly because this car has a black interior, and you guys know I'm allergic to black interiors. I think they're dreary and boring, and don't understand why anybody would get a black interior in a expensive and nice car as this. But first impressions is that the ride quality on this E-Class with air suspension is magnificent. The S90 didn't have air suspension, so it's not a fair comparison, but other than that, this car does nothing better than the S90. So my money goes to the S90 every day of the week, every day of the year. It doesn't matter. The S90 is a better car. It awakens the emotions inside of you. It's such a special place to be, and a special car to drive. It just makes you feel special, and this car is just another Mercedes, if I can say that. So see you guys on the next one. Goodbye.